Alrighty, let's try that again. So we are looking at supplementary and complementary. This is going to be tomorrow's lesson. Today we're looking at vertical and adjacent angles. Okay, so that's what we're going to cover today. But these are going to cause us to need to write and solve equations to find the unknown. So we're going to kind of review our solving equation steps. That is why I chose to do this topic first. We'll go back to the probability one after that. All right. Your homework is that 7-2 videos, if you haven't already, and assignment number 1, page 274 to 275, 8 through 13, 21 through 24, and then 27 through 30. Okay, make sure you've also looked on your calendar. Your test, your quiz is next Wednesday, and your test is the following Wednesday. After that, we will do the placement test. Alrighty, so in your notebooks, you're going to write this down now. This is angles. This is section 7-1, and the date is April 9th. Okay. The first angle you're going to write down is this one. Okay. We have covered this in 5th grade and 6th grade, so we're going to cover it one more time. This is smaller than a 90-degree angle, so I always called it a acute angle, so its name is acute. This is smaller than 90 degrees. Okay, so we need to know this to be able to work the problems today. We're also going to be able to name the triangles, so you need to know that for that part too. All right, our next one is this, so go ahead and draw that. This shows us this is a right angle, and it has measures of 90 degrees. It is shown by that little box. Okay, that shows us it is a 90-degree angle or a right angle. There can only be one right angle in a triangle, which we will get to later this week. All right, our next angle is this. This is the one that is a fat angle. So our everyday word is obese. The angle sounds similar, is obtuse. Okay, just like this one was smaller than 90 degrees, this one is going to be larger than 90 degrees. Okay, these are all ones we've had previously, and you should be familiar with them. There is a new one, which is this, okay? It looks like a straight line, and that's exactly what it is. So it is called straight. And if we were to look at this, we can see that there is a 90-degree angle on this side. There's a 90-degree angle on that side. So 90 plus 90 is exactly 180 degrees. So a straight angle just tells us that it is 180 degrees. We will be using that now in this, from this point on. Okay, so make sure you've written down these angles and that you're familiar with them. For topic 7, the math is not hard, but you do need to know all these words, so you might want to start some index cards so that you can keep all the vocab straight. Okay. The next piece, I just want you to draw this on your notebooks. Don't worry about this part up here. Okay, so go ahead and draw this figure. We've got 2 intersecting lines with some letters on it. Okay, we are going to learn to name some angles. So on this one, when you name an angle, this is what we show that it is an angle. So this is the angle symbol. And then you always have 3 letters, okay? The middle one is always your vertex. There are many different ways to name angles. Okay. So when I give you one, there's usually another way to write it also, so don't panic if you don't have the same thing. The vertex does have to agree. So if I want to name this angle here, I'm going to start here. So this is angle V. There's my vertex, my point, there's W, and then X. Okay. But I could have also started from this side and name it this way. So this means the same thing as angle X, W, and V. Okay, they mean the same exact thing. It's just we flip the letters around. Okay. If we wanted to try another one, we could look at, let's say this one. This angle we could write as V, W is the vertex, Z. This is exactly the same as saying Z, W, V. Okay, so same thing. Now that is just how to name angles. From there, we are going to look at adjacent angles. So adjacent angles. Okay. Adjacent angles must share a side. They also share a vertex. Okay, so let's go back and let's look at this one here. Okay, so this angle is angle VWX. This has this vertex. Now I could share this side. So if I share this side, okay, so I've just named this angle, then adjacent to this would be VWZ. Okay, so they share this vertex and they share this side. Or we could look on the other side. So we're looking at this angle here. Okay, if they share this side, okay, so let me write it another way. If they share the other side, then VWX is adjacent to angle XWY. Okay? And that is just for that one angle. It could go this way, it could go this way. But adjacent means they are touching. It does not tell us when they're adjacent. We don't know if it adds up to 90 degrees, 180, 170, we don't have a clue, okay? But these add together, or could add together, okay? And we're gonna look at some problems like that. Now, the other type of angle we talked about, or you saw on your video, was something known as vertical angles. So vertical angles, first of all, have two lines that are intersecting. So two intersecting lines. Okay. They are opposite, these angles are opposite each other. This is really helpful. They are opposite, but they're also equal to each other. So however many degrees this angle is that same amount of degrees. So these are equal angles. So in this example, angle VWZ and angle XWY are vertical angles. and they have the same measurement. So if this was, I don't know, 40, I don't know, let's say 54 degrees. That looks a little bit better. Then this one is also 54 degrees. Okay? And it'll work the same way. You could also look this way, and these angles are also vertical angles to each other. Okay? So make sure you have that down, and now we're going to try some examples. All right, here we go. So some examples are this one. Okay, so first of all, are these vertical or adjacent angles? They are next to each other, they share the vertex, they share the side, so these are adjacent. So go ahead and draw this picture. Make sure you write down that it is adjacent. Now, we can solve for x because how many degrees is this angle? It is a straight angle, so we know it is 180 degrees. That means the whole angle is 180, and I can see it's made up of 85 plus x. So now we're going to review solving equations. So we need to solve for x. We're kicking out that 85, and we're going to do the opposite. So this is a positive 85, so the inverse is to subtract the 85 from both sides. That leaves us with x equals, we're going to need to borrow. So 10 minus 5 is 5, and then 17 minus 8 is actually 95. And don't forget your degree marking. So this angle here is 95 degrees. Now, when I looked at this, I thought these were both right angles. The key in geometry is not to assume. I was going to assume this was a 90 degree, this was a 90 degree, I was done. But it is not, you actually have to figure it out, and unless they tell you it's a 90 degree angle, you don't get to call it one. Okay? Here's the next one. This one, they told us it was a 90 degree angle, so it is official. What kind of angles are these? Right? These are vertical angles. Okay? So these are vertical angles. They have two intersecting lines. Okay? And we're using the opposite sides. So what can we say about x? How many degrees does it equal? That's right, it equals that 90 degrees. Good. Okay. All right, here's another one. What type of angle is this? Are these vertical or adjacent? So they have the same vertex, they share a line, so they are adjacent. They told us this whole angle is 90 degrees. So that means the whole angle is 90. That's going to equal this 69 plus this, so this 2x minus 1. Now we have to remember solving equations. When we solve an equation, we are going to combine like terms. So this 69 and this 1, we're going to go ahead and put those together first. So 69 minus 1 is 68. We still have the 2x, and it's equal to the 90 degrees. Okay. We want to solve for x, so we're going to go ahead and box that term. We're kicking out the 68. So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to subtract 68 from both sides. Okay. When we do that, we're left with 2x equals, we're going to subtract here. Okay, we need to borrow. 10 minus 8 is 2, 8 minus 6 is 2. Again, we're looking to solve for x, so we're going to kick out the 2. This is a coefficient and a variable, so that means they're being multiplied. So the opposite is to divide both sides by that 2. When we do that, we find x equals 11 degrees. Now, please be careful. Sometimes it will ask you for x, and sometimes it'll ask you to find the angle. This angle is actually 2x minus 1. So we need to plug that 11 back in, right? So 2 times 11 is 22, minus 1. So this angle is 21 degrees, but our x is 11 degrees. So just be careful which one they're asking for, okay? Alrighty. If you have any questions, just make note of that, and we will come back to that tomorrow when I see you. Now, everybody is going to get your book out, and we are going to work on homework for the remainder of the time. So on numbers 8 through 13, you need to tell me if it's adjacent or vertical, and then you need to solve for your angle. All right, so everyone is going to turn to page 274 or 275. Please make sure that you have your books with you for the rest of this topic and the next one, because we'll be doing a lot with our books. Alrighty, and I will see you all tomorrow. Please work quietly.